So I can see anything today. Happy Monday. It is so gray and dreary and rainy here in Nashville. So let me know how the weather is in your neck of the woods. Let me know if somebody send me some sunny rays from somewhere like, I don't know, Hawaii or Florida or wherever it's not just gray and drizzling. And that's winter in Nashville. Anyway, my name is Michelle Archer, which you probably know because you're watching this video. And my topic tonight is Facebook groups and what in the heck is going on. Now, this is part of a 12 topic series that I've been running since the new year. And this is session 7. So we have 6 left. Incidentally, if you're just catching this or you're watching the replay, hey, comment replay. Or if you're live, let me know. But if you're just catching this and you're like, what? I didn't know Michelle was doing a series. I am. So if you're not getting text and email reminders, just type reminder in the comment below and I will be sure and add you to either text or email. I'll have to reach out to you and you let me know how you would like to be communicated with. That's always really important. So this is session 7. We've covered a lot of ground. A lot of the topics are my own personal experiences. It's lessons from the past 4 years. And it's been a heck of a 4 years. So some of those are personal and a lot of those are professional lessons that I wanted to share with you guys because I love you and I know how frustrating all of this can be. So tonight we're talking about groups. Oh my gosh, like let me know, how frustrated are you with groups? It's the number one thing that I hear is no one's listening to me. I feel like nobody cares. I don't get any engagement. I don't get, any feedback, and posts just hang out there with nothing at all. No comments, nothing. And, Facebook, what Facebook tells me, I'm not sure that I can always trust. We'll probably get shut down because I'm talking bad about the Zucker universe. I'm also really curious as to how many admins we have. So if you're an admin, a group admin, raise your hand. And then I'd love to know how many groups you admin. If you're not an admin, probably not going to care about much of this. But anyway, if you are an admin, I hope that this takes some of the mystery out of it and makes your life a little bit easier and really drives home the concept that if you're not getting the engagement that you want, it really is not you. I mean, that is governed by the powers at be. Incidentally, if you are just not an admin, but you're in groups, you might want to listen because you just don't know how frustrating it is for people trying to create a really great group for folks. So we will talk a little bit about groups, social media in general, and professional profiles, which is why I chose to do this particular webinar, this particular topic, webinar, where'd that word come from? The recesses of my brain. This particular topic on my professional profile, which was my personal profile, and about a year ago, they introduced professional profiles. And so there's some great merit there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get going. So that being said, why don't we get going? I'll drop your questions in the comments as we go, and I will keep an eye on those over here on my other screen to the best of my ability. Hey, Kat Natalie, good to see you. So let's talk a little bit about what in the heck is going on with groups. I tried to type what in the HE hockey sticks, but you know that Facebook does not do hockey sticks, right? They don't do the L. But anyway, so there's my joke. I lost it. Group visibility. This is no secret to anyone who admins a group and pays attention to it. And you can admin groups for so many different reasons. It can be community, it can be your school, it can be your church, it can be your business, it can be, I'm in my community, my neighborhood. There's probably 150 houses in my neighborhood, and we've got a little group that we keep post updates and things like that. And so it used to be when we all first came onto Facebook, everything everyone posted you saw, right? The average person had 250 friends. That's increased pretty significantly. And they hadn't figured out how much money they could make from advertising yet. So when they added groups, I don't know, good gracious, I'd have to look. It's been a minute. 10 years ago, probably they added groups. Groups performed as well in the feed as just about anything else because, you joined that group because you want to know what they were talking about in there, right? People used them for all kinds of reasons. Companies started using them, businesses started using them, and that is we've just saw the steady decline of organic reach in general, but groups really seem to have taken the hardest hit. about a year ago. So most of us, we just log on here and we, whatever, consume whatever is forced in our feed. And it really can create this echo chamber. So I really encourage you to cultivate your feed a lot. And so we're not paying a lot of attention as to what's going on behind the scenes at Facebook. I pay a little bit of attention. So about a year ago, and they couch this or they bury it in, major announcements and then like as a footnote, oh yeah, and. So about a year ago, they really, I don't even know if they announced it, but developers write third-party apps that interface with Facebook. All those silly Facebook quizzes that you take, you as a Barbie or whatever it is. Zoom, the ability to live stream. If you use a scheduling app, which I rely on heavily for consistent and based content, that's all done through an API. And don't ask me what it stands for. My husband could tell you. But anyway, so that's how people write these apps that have great value for us as consumers and people who are building businesses here and running organizations here. That's how developers create this. So about a year ago, Facebook just kind of said to the development community, yeah, we know the group API is messed up and we don't have time to fool with it. We don't have time to fix it. So they didn't. So there really haven't been any new apps available for groups. If you look back, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's kind of true. I didn't think about that. Everybody who is kind of grandfathered in, we could still use, there's a half a dozen of them, probably more than that. But anyway, y'all tell me what's the number one third-party app that's not Facebook. So it'd be like a Zoom or SendShare or Hootsuite, something like that. What's the number one app that you use to help run your group? I'm curious to see where everyone is spending their time. Hey ladies, I see y'all popping in here. So what's the number one app that you use that's not from Facebook? So that was not a good sign when they said to developers, we just really don't have time to fix that. So boo-hoo, move along. They didn't come out and tell us that. So Facebook's always leaving this breadcrumb trail that we have to follow. And it's exhausting. This is why people make legitimate money putting the pieces together for you. This is a free training. I'm going to put some pieces together for you. Not all of them, but you can stay tuned because I've got a bigger thing coming, a little more in depth for people who really want to dig in to social media groups, especially. So they do make it hard to find the information, and they started making groups hard to find. So tell me, do you remember this? Maybe also about a year ago, about the time when they wouldn't fix the thing for the development community, the API for new tongue, leasing to buy. Wouldn't fix that for developers. They also added on mobile a tab for groups. So your feed, and sometimes a group will show up in your actual feed, particularly on mobile. 80% of people use mobile, so that's really all that matters right now. I mean, I'm a big laptop user, but anyway. So you have to flip to a tab, and then you see all your groups. So they took it and they kind of popped it out and stuck it over to the side. Not great news, because most of you are trying to make a living and grow a brand and a business in a Facebook group somewhere. The visibility has steadily declined. It's really terrible. Most experts put it around maybe 7% of the people who can see that. So is your group public? Is it private? Is it secret? Y'all don't have a secret group. I mean, unless it's like deep, dark secrets, because no one's ever going to see that stuff. I did the math on mine, and you can do this. If you don't know what you're running, you really need to know what you're running. You can go through and, it takes a little bit of mathing, but you can look and it'll show you, your insights. And so mine runs about 10%, which is pretty good. My personal profile runs 15% or so. Recently I had 32%, which is really, really exciting. So I want to first compare percentages for you because that's a fair level playing field. But then we have to take into consideration that you're getting a 7% return on a very small audience, a very finite audience. Some of you have groups of 300 or 400 people in there versus I think we're still limited to 5,000 on a profile. Personal profile might be different. I mean, a professional profile might be different. I actually haven't looked. Anywho, so, groups are difficult. It's a hard road to hoe to grow something there, honestly. They are frustrating and they are time consuming. And this is another huge question I get. What do I post? I don't know what to post. I'm out of ideas. Incidentally, if you are out of ideas, I maintain a calendar over at DSI. You can ask for the link in the comments. And I've got all the wacky, funny holidays. Like the other day was, I don't know, popcorn day. It's always great, just base content. Everyone loves popcorn, donut day, fun things like that. In addition to the value added content, the service, and the information that you're providing to people. And then, of course, your product, which should be the smallest percentage of what you're posting about, right? Nobody signed up. As I often say, QVC. Y'all can let me know if you even know what QVC is anymore. This is how I find out that some things that I say just aren't relative in the current, Rubicon, what are they, lexicon? Yeah. So they are time consuming. It's very frustrating. Most direct sellers have been kind of pushed off into groups. At some point, we didn't have them. This is a true story. I think Facebook was 5 years old, or 5 or 7. Somebody will look it up and tell me. Someone's always the fact expert. We ran Facebook without it. It was a new thing that they added. Oh, and I'm seeing a lot of SenseShare, Multibrain. Yeah, those. I mean, they're great ones. So bad news for them. Most of you have ended up in a group because you don't want to get in trouble with your compliance department because there's very heavy-handed rules, or you're confused about the rules. You can't run a public special, like you can't do your own DIY special and post that in a public place. You can only do it in a closed group, or you'll get in trouble. Some of you think you shouldn't talk about your products and your business on your profile, which is crazy because if you worked at the bank, that would probably come up. If you worked anywhere that you really loved, you'd probably mention it. In my community group not too long ago, we were without power for about 5 days. It's Nashville. It doesn't matter why. It might have been the snow. It could have been the wind. Sometimes on sunny days, we just don't have power. It's fascinating. Someone runs a restaurant in town, and they were in the part of my suburb of north of town that had power, and so they put a little post in our group that said, "Hey, if you're in our neighborhood, come in, mention it, and dinner's on us." That was a really sweet thing for them to do. So it's fine to talk about your business, to integrate it into your life, to show how you use it, to show your results or whatever on your profile. But for some reason, a little tagline, a little blurb in Facebook's verbiage convinced people, or people twisted it to say you can't talk about your business. What it actually says is you can't open a profile and name it as a business. You can't use a profile as a business. That's for pages. But for human beings, you can talk all you want to about whatever your company is, whatever your business is. There's no rules about it. The only rules most of you are under are the ones that are put on you by your company. So there you are in this small, infinite space, trying to grow this huge, beautiful tree, which needs space and sunlight and a little bit of rain and, birds and all the great things. And you're trying to do that in a closet somewhere, which is really what a Facebook group is. So that's the situation with Facebook groups. It's been that way for a while, but wait, it's going to get so much better. They announced, also footnote buried in a big announcement about their 4K streaming service coming to Pages, that they are going to cut all third-party app access beginning in April. So they gave everybody 90 days. So what that means is no new apps or helpers or shortcuts or schedulers or anything fun will be developed for groups. And the existing ones that you rely on, like SenseShare, like Multibrain, those aren't going to work anymore in your group. And y'all can imagine, probably the number one thing in social media is consistency. Even if you do it badly, if you do it often enough, you'll get results. So now there's no more scheduling. Their in-house app, their in-house scheduler will be available, but gosh, it's a pain in the rear end. If you're in a couple of different groups, and for most of you guys, you're doing Facebook parties. I don't love that word, but it's universal. Y'all know what that means. You can schedule, like from SenseShare, one of my favorite things is you could schedule 3 all at the same time. You create the post, you tell it what groups you want to post it in. Oh my gosh. I mean, it is the greatest time saver in the world. All that's going to go away. For training, I heavily rely on Zoom. For team training, it's essential. You can show slides, and I'm kind of at a loss tonight because I don't have slides. I have notes. I don't ever use notes. I use bullet points. So this will probably run long because I've got notes. What are we, 15 minutes in? So Zoom won't work anymore in your group. So you're going to have to either do it in Zoom, where you can have bullet points and a nice PowerPoint, whatever, and then upload, which is a pain in the rear end, or you're just going to have to do it live in your group. And the technology just isn't there. So I'm looking to see what y'all think about that so far. And it doesn't matter. It's all third-party apps. So some people are asking me about different ones. Yeah, absolutely. Zoom, Be Live. What's the other one? Steam, something. Anything that's a third-party app. So anything not developed by Facebook will not work in a Facebook group. I think it's April 28th is the date. So that, no, just groups. Great question. Just groups. Interestingly enough, and I'll get to this, they're keeping third-party apps for your profile and public-facing business pages. So we start to put the clues together about what's going on. StreamYard, that's the one, Carla. Thank you. Yes. None of those. Yeah, they're awesome. There's great apps, and they have way better functionality than what's currently built into Facebook. And I haven't seen anything new in groups, by the way. So I don't feel like they're going to give us anything new. I think they're just going to take away what we're really, really using to grow. And, that's a problem, because it's going to create a lot more work for you, for me, for anybody who is really working heavily in groups. Incidentally, I think when I went live, I could stream this into the Direct Sales Institute group, but we'll have to go back and see, because it was kind of wonky. Laptop, it's a trip. To really dig into the deep cuts of what you can do in Facebook, you have to do it from a laptop, but most of the functionality is on a phone. And I started to go live from my phone, but anyway, it's too much. So yes, and this was in my notes, Facebook schedule will remain live, and Reels are still available in your group. Rooms have been gone since about October, and they didn't actually blare that. I don't know how many of y'all were using those. I loved Rooms, used it for all kinds of different things. And you used to have Rooms from your personal profile too. But anyway, so all of that is going away. You'll have lives, Reels, and their Facebook scheduler. And the Facebook scheduler is fine, but if you're ever working in a group, working with a group of people to schedule something, you can't see what another admin schedules. Whereas in SendShare, we just share the same account, and I can see what everybody else has gone in and posted, and I kind of know what's going on. We're flying blind with that because admins can't see what other admins have posted. They very quietly announced that Rooms were going away. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, you can have a couple of people join live in a group. Yeah. So we use it, and y'all really, really rely on it. So why are they doing this? Goodness only knows. Rest assured that the reason hinges on money, and I'm not going to go off on a capitalist tirade. I mean, this is a capitalist country. It's how we all get by. But they're here to make money. This is a pay-to-play environment these days. So whatever is behind it is that they want to make more money. And it probably exposes them to a little less liability. There was some interesting things going on in Facebook groups, and especially in Rooms, and I don't know, but I think the third-party app really is because they want us here on this profile. They don't want us over in Zoom pushing here, or scheduling in Hootsuite and pushing it to here, because we're not consuming. We're not consumers, right? When we're over in a third-party app pushing things to Facebook. It is really unfortunate. I think Facebook could fix so many things. I know they're here for the money, and that's okay. If they would just add boosting to groups. So Zuckerberg, if you're listening, if you would just add the ability to boost to a group, so that group members, I could pay $5, and group members that would appear in their feed, that would be wonderful. And then none of y'all would get in trouble because your company isn't in your group. Okay, I really do wish they would add that. But advertising is where they make their money, and they don't make any money off groups because there are no ads, there is no boosting. We were purely here for entertainment. I think that they were trying to create connection and community, and they're realizing that, paid ads really ultimately pay better than connecting with people, which is why we're all here in the beginning. So as we look at that, we have to ask ourselves, and again, my notes are over here, the chat messages are over there. we have to ask ourselves, like, what's Facebook trying to tell us? What are they quietly signaling us? So we can do two things. We can get mad and stamp our feet and, throw a fit and gripe about it and threaten to leave. But who are you kidding? You're not leaving. We're still here. 15 years in, we're still here after all the stuff that they've done. So we really need to put the clues together. So what they're telling us is it is time to market beyond a closed group. It's beyond time. I've been saying this for probably 5 years. It's beyond time. So now they're going to push you to it because they're going to make it so hard to work in a group and so cumbersome to work in a group that it's not even worth your time anymore. They're telling us groups are not our priority. We're not even going to fix the programming, and now we're going to cut off access to anybody who could develop anything cool for groups. The results will continue to decline because it isn't their priority. It doesn't make them money. So they're not going to push it to the feed. They're not going to make it more available. Organic reach isn't going to increase. It's just going to continue to decrease. And I noticed something really odd this last week or so. I know that they're monkeying with it. You can always tell because all of a sudden I'm seeing dozens and dozens and dozens of public groups, which you don't have to be a member to see the content, in my feed. So I know they're fooling around with it. Here it comes, right? They're finding that little sweet spot to not tick off all the admins so that everyone gets mad and leaves. So they're monkeying around with it. Also, I discovered some great groups. But anyway, so that's what Facebook is quietly signaling to us, that we have really until April to get our house in order and figure out how we're going to market our business outside of that closed private group that only members can see. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, so that's what they're pushing us away from because of the decisions that they've made. I'm checking comments. So where are they pushing us? Well, one of the things that they announced when they put the little footnote there about groups is that they're heavily investing in video technology. I should have put the figure in my numbers. It's millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in video technology. And video has been king here for quite some time. So what have we got to work with on Facebook that is native to Facebook? Reels, stories, and lives, right? We've had lives for a long time. We've had stories for a while. And then reels are probably the most recent. I think I've got that right. Short form video is hot. It's hot on Facebook. It's hot on Instagram. It built TikTok. I mean, it's just hot everywhere. It's got the highest visibility, or ROI, return on investment, here on Facebook because we have like we have attention deficit disorder. We have a very limited attention span because we're so inundated with things. People want high quality content really quick. They want to be amused or informed or whatever it is that they're looking for, and they want that in short form. Lives 15, 30 minutes long still have great value. This one might go a little bit longer than that. But that short form video is hot. Users spend 50% of the time that they are scrolling the feed watching videos, and they'll get sucked down a reel hole, REEL. So if you're not doing reels, gosh, that is like, I got sucked into one the other night that was comedians. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. If video scares you, and I know it's newer to some people, if you're not used to getting in front of an audience, right? Post and pray is easy. It's a static graphic. You put it up there. No one's going to judge you. They might if you spell something wrong. But anyway, but if video scares you, honestly, said with all the love in my heart, it is time to build a bridge and get over it because that's what it's moving towards. And Facebook has been telling us this for years, that, video is gaining ground, videos where we're moving, videos where we're investing. So if you want to be seen, it's going to have to be in video. And yes, you can pepper in text posts and all that other stuff. But video is king, and it's king on Facebook, and it's king on Instagram, and it is all of what TikTok is. So it's time to be brave, and we can talk another time about easy, simple things that you can do that might not be too scary. Like, it doesn't always have to be your face sitting here like this, looking into the camera. It can be you using your product, doing an unboxing. There's so many things that you can do. You do want to keep it simple. You could do just a tip of the week. Let's say you're in jewelry. That's the fashion industry. You could go on and say, hey, happy Friday. Here's my tip of the week, or tip Tuesday, or whatever day you want to do it on. And it doesn't have to be jewelry. Pantones are a favorite go-to of mine. Everybody, it reminds me, there's a great scene in The Devil Wears Prada where Glenn Close explains to Anne Hathaway how she ended up in that blue sweater that she's wearing. Pantone picked it. So you could go on and say, hey, here's our, Fashion Friday tip. Pantone's color of the year it's a lavender right now. Not my favorite, but it was featured heavily in the Super Bowl logo. Anywho, and then you might say, hey, here's the hot color as we move into spring. And let me show you my favorite pair of earrings that are so on trend you can't live without them, right? Boom, on, off. It's 5 minutes long. It will not kill you, I promise. You can utilize product placement too. So that's more of a sales, it's informational and sales. But you can use product placement, which is becoming incredibly popular. And we're seeing a lot of this on Instagram where they're not necessarily talking about the jewelry. They might not even mention the jewelry. They may just go live and say, hey, I'm getting ready this morning and I thought I would tell y'all a funny story that happened or whatever. Or, tell you, I was just reading the color report for the year and, this color is super hot. Meanwhile, you're putting on the perfect earrings and the necklace and a sweater and whatever. So, if you want to be on trend, this I can't even think what the color is right now, but it's a lavender kind of color. This is your go-to. Tell me your favorite color. Get on and get off. It doesn't have to be a big, long, scripted thing. You can use pre-recorded content if it makes it easier. I personally find that if I record something and then have to live through the pain of watching myself on video, it's way worse and I feel the need to edit it. So I would rather just go live off the cuff and, then it's out there and it's done. And, I'm not going to agonize over taking out my ums and my ahs and my eye rolls. Evidently, I'm very bad at. So that's where they're pushing us. That's the direction that we're being not really gently shoved. So what else? Professional profile options. So this is the 7th topic in this series of 12. And again, if you're not getting reminders, just drop a reminder in the comments below and I'll be sure that you're on the list because we have this one and 5 more topics left, kind of like this one. So I went live from my personal profile tonight because I converted my just regular personal profile to a professional profile sometime back. And it really is very easy. You can just convert your profile that you have. There's a button somewhere. We'll have to find it for you. What's nice is that your profile, and I've been saying this for a while, if you've been following me, it's the highest visibility there is. Mine's somewhere between 15 and 20%, depending on what I'm posting and what's going on and what Facebook is doing. And I think, did I say that groups were less than 7%? Did I say that? I might have skipped over that. I think I said it. Anyway, this is why I don't use notes. But anyway, that group is less than 7% of a very small pool. I did say that. I may be having a senior moment. So your profile is the highest visibility of anything that you can do, better than pages or anything else. And also, when you convert over to a professional profile, it offers you insights. So you can see on every post how many people was it served up to, and then how many people commented on it or reacted to it in any way. That was fascinating. And I didn't do the math for you guys, but like in my group, let's say I had 9% of people that Facebook served it up to. I might have 3 people that commented on it. And part of this is a larger pool again, but the engagement rate is so much higher on your profile. So, they may have served it up to 1,100 people and 10% of those people commented on it in some way. Like most are comments, not just an emoji like or whatever, but an actual comment. That's huge if you're trying to build something or whatever you're doing here, whatever you're using a group for, you would kill for those numbers in a group. You're not going to get them. So the insights are invaluable, and you can kind of go back and look and see what performed well. There's all kinds of great things. We could do a whole nother training on what's so special about a personal profile. You can actually boost posts. You can pay to boost if your company allows it. And I know that most don't, but still that is an option if your company doesn't have a rule about it. I know, lots that do. And then some, particularly newer companies, don't have all those pesky little rules in place. So professional profile is nice. It's not another page to manage. It's not another anything to manage. It's what you're already doing. And I know some of you are like, oh, but my profile's for my friends and I would keep that on lockdown and it's all secret. That's tough. You're going to have to make some decisions about marketing then, because you're not going to get the results that you need out of a group. And if your profile is locked down, and I understand we have kids and all, there's a million reasons that people do that. Mine's pretty wide open. whatever. Anybody could find you. They could Google you and find a picture of your house right now. I mean, not to scare anybody, but I don't know. We're kind of odd sometimes about social media. So give that some consideration. What are you here for primarily? If you're primarily here to connect with your family and friends, and oh yeah, you sell something on the side, awesome. If you really do want to build, you might want to give it another thought, look at it a different way. It's the same thing on Instagram too. You can do a professional profile on Instagram and open that up so that people can connect with you. If they can't connect with you, they can't trust you. And if they can't trust you, they'll never buy from you. Purchasing is a trust proposition. Joining your team, gosh, that's a huge trust piece. And so if you're closed off to people and they really can't connect with you and get to know you, who you are authentically, it's really, really tough to do anything after that. So something to consider. Now, if you're like, nope, my profile is only for my family and friends and, people I went to high school with. Okay, great. Let's talk about pages. There's a lot of benefits to pages on Facebook. They come up in the major search engines, which I've been preaching about for I don't know how many years. So if you go Google something, like I don't know what I Googled earlier, one of the top 5 returns was a Facebook page along that topic. I can't even think what it was right now. But anyway, so it comes up when you go to Google, when you go to Yahoo, Bing, wherever you're searching, Facebook pages are indexed in the search results. So it really is kind of like a public presence that stays, like a permanent public presence. It's kind of like the storefront window for your business. And you can put there what you want to, and you can keep things private if you want to. There's lower engagement. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't do the math on that on any of my business pages. But you do get insights. These third-party apps will still work there, which is really nice. There's also a dashboard where you can schedule from your page. You can cross post to Instagram and you can push it to your groups too, all in one fell swoop, but third-party apps will still work there. So something to think about. You can boost it, which is paying for people to see it more often. We talked about this in a previous series. And anyway, if you want to know how to get around that company rule, PM me. Actually, no, just let me know and I'll put it in the DSI group. I would not ever name my business page. I would not incorporate my company name in that because your company could change. You could change and then they claim some kind of eminent domain. Many companies claim some kind of eminent domain over a Facebook page that uses their name, rightfully so. So think twice when you're coming up with your Facebook page name. You can get those changed, but boy, it's a pain in the rear. All right, before I move on to my very last tip on what to do, I know y'all are dying for social media tips. Everybody always wants them, particularly Facebook and Instagram. This is a lot for Facebook, but most of it applies to Instagram. Video is number 1 on both platforms. So again, the video. Number 2, images. And I would really encourage you, authentic, organic images. And you can play around with this. You can put a stalker image, and we all need stalker images. You can't come up with, 3 or a fantastic post a day. But if you pay attention to it and you look at those insights and comments, you can really see the difference between a picture that is of you holding your product and a picture that's a company. Facebook knows them when they see them. They can scan it. They know how many people have posted it, and they, kind of red flag it. They dink it a little bit, and it doesn't perform as well. So authentic and organic, which is why it's very important if you are a direct seller or you're selling any kind of product. You need that product in your hands. You can't rely on what your company is putting out as far as graphics go. Text posts, this only applies to Facebook. I actually get really great results with text only. Often not with the color. You can pick a background, just a plain one. And I'll let y'all know because that's how I did the reminder for this call tonight. It's just it's text on the white background. Didn't do anything fancy. Threw a few emojis in there. Links have terrible traction. Facebook doesn't like it. They want to keep people right here. They don't want them going to your website or whatever. So sometimes it's a little lazy social media marketing to say, hey, we've got a sale. Here's my link. Like no one's ever going to see that because Facebook immediately goes, nope, don't want to reroute them. Toby Keith passed away recently, rest him, Red Solo Cup. And I posted a couple of my favorite videos. it's dismal reach because they don't want you posting things from Facebook or from YouTube either or from anywhere else. So even that, it's not a link. You go and you share to Facebook. Facebook doesn't like it. It was just really, really terrible. And you're seeing more and more, and this was something people did a while back, people burying links in the comment because it hurts you so bad in that post. I'm just checking here. So don't just throw a link up there. Put up an image, do a video, links in the comments, whatever. Currently, if you're curious, just generically across space and time, the best time to post is 8 a.m. or noon on Tuesday or Thursday. That's just the current thing. If you're looking for content, ask questions. People love to share their opinion. I asked, what did everybody think about the halftime show? I think there's 200 comments on that post, right? Because people love to say how much they loved it or how much they hated it. And it is interesting. And then you really want to get social. So I went back on that. When people said they really loved it, I would say, oh, whatever. If they say they really didn't like it, I would say, oh, what's your favorite of all time, right? I need to know who my people are. I need to know what their favorite shows are, what they liked, what they didn't like. So I tried to make conversation on each one of those, really being social on those and commenting and starting a conversation. This should be about conversation and not just on your post, but if a friend posts something that catches your attention, let's say your friend posted, whatever, unpopular opinion. I didn't like the halftime show. You go on and you can say something on that, but then you can start conversations with everyone else who's talking on hers. Now, you don't spam them and tell them that you sell skincare or whatever it is, because that's just icky, bad behavior. You don't do that. You're creating relationships with people, and we have to have the patience to create relationships before we ever expect to make a sale. So, a few little tips. Here's the biggest takeaway, guys. It is time to diversify where you're spending your time. The Facebook group isn't going to get it anymore. Facebook alone isn't going to get it anymore. And this is my home base. It's the first platform I joined. I feel really comfortable here. I know the ins and outs of it. And I don't want to learn something new, but I want to continue to grow and grow my reach and connect with people who need what I have to offer and make a difference in people's lives. So I'm going to have to pick up a new skill, right? We are always retooling, particularly in social media. We have to be retooling. And it's always good to pick up a good skill. So Instagram, yes, I know. It is technically a different platform, but y'all know who owns it, right? It's Zuckerberg 2.0. So the same people that are making decisions for Facebook are making decisions for Instagram. So whatever, this is where we're going to end up on Instagram. I don't even think there are groups right now. There's something, but anyway, there are a lot of things you can do. Group messaging. There are so many fun things. I can do a whole training on Instagram, but I'm trying to keep it short. I'm already over what I want it to be. But anyway, it is owned. It's the same thing. We've got YouTube. I think most of us are missing the boat on YouTube. It's a huge search engine. So go search something. When you're done here, search whatever. One of the top 5 things you're going to get are YouTube videos because, again, it's indexed in the search engine. It helps people find you. And for those of you who can't do pay-per-click ads, you can't boost or post or anything, you need all the free marketing you can get. YouTube is free marketing and it does you well. It behooves you to have a presence there. I need to be a little bit better on YouTube. I spend too much time on Facebook. TikTok, it's not just for kids anymore. It's where it started, but they're coming of age. They're growing up. We've got the TikTok moms are over there too. And so there's a viable business opportunity there. I think that anybody who has a physical product, a visual product, we're missing the boat on Pinterest, which is also comes up in the search engines, and it's a whole community within itself where mostly women are sharing tips and ideas back and forth. So there's a trust factor over on Pinterest that you really have to build other places. We talked previously about how important it is to utilize email and text. So if you want a reminder, I'm going to email it to you or text it to you. You just need to let me know which one. None of us owns our audiences here on Facebook. They could, pull up the stakes tomorrow and be done. And what business would you have if Facebook went away tomorrow? Instagram, all of it. What business would you have? And incidentally, on your profile, particularly profile, and if you take it professional, you can see who your friends are. On a page, you can't see who likes the page. You can get some demographic information, and there's a limited ability for you to message back and forth with people, but you don't really own that audience that you've spent so much time building. We've got 10,000 followers over at Direct Sales Institute. I spent a lot of money and a lot of time building that audience. I don't know who it is if they don't comment. That is a problem. That is dangerous for you. No, the old adage, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Social media as a whole is one basket. We're just jumping from the one that works to the one that, works better, right? But it's all the same thing. So I'm going to go a little old school and just say email and text. And that is becoming more and more imperative every day. So if you're not, hearing the warning sirens, it really is time to wake up and smell the coffee on that. Yes, social media, but yes, an ability to connect with people off of social media, an actual list. And if you're thinking, how do I begin to build a list? You can go back and listen to, I think it was the call last week where I talked about that. So anywho, I hope that helps. I'm happy to answer questions. I'll watch the comments here for a minute, and then I'll keep my eye on the comments for the next, as long as Facebook notifies me. And again, if you're not getting reminders of this series, we've got 5 topics left, and they range all kinds of things. Just type reminder in the comments below, and I will reach out to you about a reminder. I forgot you can text reminder, but I forgot the number. All right, that's all, really kind of all that I had. Anything from you guys before we get out of here? I still need to go make dinner. It's never done, right? All right. I don't see any pressing questions. So I'll be around. I'll keep an eye on the comments. You can drop anything in there that you would like, and feel free to private message me anytime you have a question. That's what I'm here for. All right, y'all, thanks for joining me. I'm going to get out of here if the Facebook gods allow, seamlessly and stylishly. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to let me do that. Looks like they're going to be a pain about it. But, this is Facebooking, right? All right. Bye, everybody.